Guys, you'll never believe what I just did. So I got Robert Kraft's phone number and I gave him a call to ask him some questions about the Patriots, and you won't believe the answers I got out of Robert Kraft. This call is unbelievable. So I hope you enjoy. Here it is. Ring, ring.
Oh yes, hi, this is Robert Kraft speaking. Who's calling?
Hi, Robert. This is Titus Frost calling with just a few questions for the fans regarding the Patriots. And since this is Owners Week, I thought you might take a few questions.
Oh yes, I'm just sitting here having a nice bagel. I'd love to answer all your questions.
Oh, really? That's great. So, Robert, why did you buy the Patriots in the first place?
Well, you see, back in 1969, I went to the game with my father, and the first thing I saw was the start of the game, and I couldn't believe my eyes. You see, this man in a black and white shirt held this coin, and he flipped the coin up in the air, and it went up high in the air, and it glistened in the sun, and then it just fell on the ground, just laying there. This shiny coin. My dad had to restrain me in my seat as I was frothing at the mouth and wanted to run down onto that field and snag that coin for myself. And all these guys are just standing there watching the coin sit there on the ground. And then they let the guy who dropped the coin pick the coin back up. I couldn't believe it. It was the greatest shock of my life. And ever since then, I've been the biggest fan of the football thing. And then I looked around the stadium and it was 1969. I was there with my dad. And I was there and I said, Dad, how much are these seats? How much do they charge for these seats? And he was like, oh, it's nothing. We got to come in here for super cheap. So I said to myself, all these goyim are in here instead of church. And I could just buy this team and then I could charge them like a gazillion dollars for every seat in this place. It could be the perfect money-making scheme ever. So I went and did what all of my ancestors have done for thousands of generations, and I printed money. I printed paper, and then people gave me money for it. And then after I was done with that, I went and I bought the Patriots for $172 million. And now they're worth $11 billion.
That's great. So you made a fortune on the Patriots. How much have you given back into the team? You know, because there's some NFLPA reports out stating that you have the oldest plane in the entire league. Your towels are so old that they've gone from red to pink because you've washed them so many times. There were reports last year that the daycare facility for the players was so bad that they forced you to fix it up. And you also have the oldest training facility in the league, which is why the Patriots have become Siberia and no players want to come there. Are all those reports true?
At a time like this, you want to ask me about being cheap. That sounds rather anti-Semitic. Look, I have put lots of money into things that matter, like stopping you from asking any of those questions or anyone else. I put $100 million into a campaign to fight anti-Semitism and stop these questions, and that's a lot of money. I used to watch the game back when my favorite player was in it, John Hanna. And John Hanna was the greatest player ever. He made the Patriots franchise so much money, and he didn't get paid almost anything. The best player ever, other than Tom Brady, who made me $11 billion. And then at the end of Tom Brady's career, when he wanted like $50 million back, I told him, are you crazy? That's my money. Go fuck yourself. I'm not giving Tom Brady $50 million to play for 2 years. I have an anti-Semitism campaign to fund. That's got to get $100 million. I don't have money for Tom Brady or any of these other players. The fans all wanted some guy named DK Metcalf. And I was like, yeah, go get him. And then the coach told me, he wants $150 million, Robert. And I said, are you fucking crazy? I'm not paying anyone. I'm playing $150 million. Go find me a bargain on that. There's got to be a cheaper player that we can get. And they said, yeah, there's this guy with a torn ACL who's like 1,000 years old. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds perfect. Sign him.
That's how we went from DK Metcalf to Stephon Diggs. That's interesting. It was all about the money, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's always about the money. It's this whole world runs on money. You know, that's why I got caught going to a Chinese massage parlor. My lawyer was like, Robert, you're worth a few $1 billion. Why don't you go to a high-class hooker? And I looked at some of these high-class hookers, and they were like $4,000 for one night? That's crazy. That's like $4,000 per inch of me they got to touch.
That's kind of revealing. So that's why you went to that shady Chinese massage parlor and not like somewhere that would be discreet?
Yeah, wait, you want me to spend $4,000 if I could go to a Chinese tongue shop for $50? Wait, are you crazy? Of course I'm going to the Chinese tongue shop for $50. I'm not paying some high-class hooker big money.
I kind of had a feeling that was the case, Robert. Everyone always wondered why these billionaires were going to this cheap Chinese massage parlor, but then I remembered how cheap you all are, so that makes total perfect sense now. So, Robert, what is the future of the franchise? You know, people have been questioning you about your training facilities, and well, you've been bragging a lot about putting up a new training facility. What's it going to cost? $50 million?
Oh, yes. So all these people have been saying we have the oldest training facilities in the world. So I decided to shove it up their butts by telling them that I'm building a new training facility. 3 years ago, I said it. But one day, it's going to be great. It's going to be the greatest training facility there ever was. And all these other teams are putting up training facilities, and they've been spending like $150 million on their training facilities. I can't afford that. We're doing it for $50 million because we're the Krafts and we do everything with penny pinching in mind.
Oh, that's great. But you're going to use that other $100 million you're saving on good causes, right?
Yes, we're going to continue to fund the genocide of Gaza because what they did on October 7th, killing 6 million Jews at a music concert right in front of everyone, using paragliders, and shutting down all the cameras. The Hamas people are devious. They must be stopped. We must genocide all of Gaza, and I need all of my money to fund this. Except for the other $11 billion I'm just keeping in my bank account because I need to earn interest on that. Wait, you think we're going to pay for players and facilities or a new jet when I have to earn interest on my savings? Are you crazy?
Okay, well, thank you very much for the interview, Robert. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well, I hope you do too until you get arrested for this video. You're going to be arrested so quick with these new anti-Semitism laws. I hope you enjoy your last days of freedom, Goyim.